Posted by you/Angry Elfman. I, 40M, divorced my wife, 37F, about 3 years ago. We have 2 awesome kids, 6F and 4M, and we have 50-50 custody. For a bit of backstory, quarantine hit us hard. I had started a new and stressful job in April 2020. My ex suffers from BPD and OCPD, and the lack of control and uncertainty at this time made her very difficult to live with. She was also postpartum during this period. I was getting calls 2 minutes after work asking where I was and was constantly made to feel guilty for pursuing any self-care. She didn't like that, and days of the silent treatment became my norm. I called it emotional purgatory. She was a stay-at-home mom at that time. I desperately tried to complete small tasks to lessen the load at home and put my dad hat on the second I walked through the door. I put the kids to bed, washed bottles, cleaned the kitchen, etc. She was always focusing on what I didn't help with. I begged her to talk to a therapist and see if medication might be appropriate. I did convince her to come to marriage counseling, which we attempted for about 6 months. In those sessions, it became clear that my feelings weren't going to be heard or considered. I decided to just work on myself and my codependency. I began to work on my self-esteem, setting boundaries, and not questioning my reality and my feelings. The healthier I got, the worse she seemed to get, which might sound strange to some. The night it all came undone, I was watching a playoff game outside on the patio. It was a Tuesday night. I had told her in advance that the game was important to me. I got the kids down and began watching the game. She came outside and asked if I could help her pick up around the house. We had someone coming to help with cleaning on Friday, so she wanted to tidy up. I told her, I can't help tonight because I'm watching the game, but I could help tomorrow. She slammed the patio door, came back out while the game was in overtime, and unplugged the TV. I walked out of the house and finished the game on my phone. After that, she asked me to go to a hotel and locked me out of the house. When I asked to come back, she told me to get an apartment, which I did. A week later, she begged me to come back. I agreed, but under the advice of my therapist, I kept my apartment in case she changed her mind. Over the next month, she became obsessed with me breaking my lease. Eventually, I had a moment where I knew I was done trying. The divorce process was messy. She faked a pregnancy and tried to prevent me from getting 50-50 custody. The truth eventually came out, and she caved. At times, I considered fighting for full custody, but I know the kids love their mom, and it would have broken her. If you made it this far, thank you for your patience. On to the present issue. Our decree states that we alternate spring breaks. My ex took the kids out of state for the last 2 years. She asked me in February if she could take them again this year. I agreed because I didn't have plans, and I feel it's important that they see family. She told me she was driving, so I agreed to more time to allow them to travel safely. I made one request: please do not take the children to see my mother. She has done this the last 2 times she traveled there. I don't talk to my mother because she stole $60,000 from my grandmother, among other things, and refused to even acknowledge her fault. I now care for my grandmother and moved her here. This morning, my daughter informed me that they are flying, not driving, and that my ex has planned a visit with my mother and the kids. Since the divorce, there has been a very consistent pattern of her intentionally disregarding simple and reasonable requests. I'll spare you other examples. The point is, I'm fed up. She is flying tomorrow. I asked her to change her flight and return the children to me by Wednesday at 5 p.m. This cuts her trip short by 3 days but follows the order. I feel a bit guilty because I know the children will be disappointed. Logically, and based on history, I know this is the only thing she responds to, and I'm sick of being taken advantage of. What are your thoughts? I'm open to hearing that I'm being unreasonable if you feel that's the case. I desperately want to just do what's best for the kids, but this often conflicts with enabling toxic behavior and her disregarding simple boundaries. Thank you for taking the time to read this. Commenter. You know this arrangement isn't sustainable, right? And it's damaging your children? This isn't about how much your kids love their mom. This is about helping them to be healthy, happy humans. Who do you think is bearing the burden of your ex's BPD and OCPD now that you aren't a full-time target? Why are you allowing her to travel alone with your kids? What happens if she goes off the rails in the middle of a strange airport with your kids in tow? Why are you not demanding an exact schedule and frequent check-ins? Your ex lied to you about the details of the trip to get you to agree. It's great if you want to be kind and understanding with her, but don't be careless with your kids. Stop extending her grace at the expense of your children. Update 1. I posted in April seeking guidance on whether I should attempt to enforce an order to cut my ex-wife's vacation short. Long story short, she has a long history of lying and manipulating situations to gain time and access to the kids. After processing all the comments, I realized that while I may not be the jerk, I am part of the problem. My flexibility with my ex was enabling and emboldening her behavior. Religiously sticking to the order has been my mantra ever since. I am grateful for the tough love in the comments, which truly helped wake me up to the situation. Thank you again to all who contributed to the original post in the comments. I did ask my ex to return the children on my scheduled parenting day. I told her that because she had lied about her travel plans, I needed her to bring the kids back early. Her response was to tell me how awful I was to do this to the children. The day came, I went to the pickup spot, and she didn't arrive. She refused to answer my calls and texted me screenshots of me agreeing to give her the extra time, along with more guilt about my behavior and weaponizing the children, etc. I tried to contact my family law attorney, but he was on vacation. I set up an appointment with him and contacted local law enforcement. The police were not interested in my call. They told me it was a civil matter and that I needed to contact the court and judge who created the order. I felt a combination of anger and helplessness. If anyone has ever co-parented with someone with personality issues, you know exactly what feeling I am describing. I decided to take full responsibility for my role in the matter and use it moving forward. Since April, I have followed the order and respectfully denied all of her requests for extra time. I have ignored the subsequent pushback and guilt tripping that inevitably comes when she doesn't get what she wants. I felt the need to update as a cautionary tale to others who are co-parenting or considering leaving a partner with personality disorders and high conflict behavior. This month, my ex informed me that she married someone from the military. I suspect she had an affair with this person during our marriage, but this is really irrelevant to this post. She emailed me, asking to relocate the children to a base literally across the country in a remote area where there are no direct flights and the travel time is over 10 hours. She has no family there, and the move would take the kids from everything they know. She proposed a plan to make me the summer parent. I respectfully shared my concerns and said that she could absolutely move, but that she would have to become the summer and holiday parent. 2 weeks later, she filed a motion to relocate with the court. She hired an expensive law firm and stated in her motion that she was a victim of domestic violence, and that I was uninterested and uninvolved with the children, and on several occasions, I have surrendered my parenting time. She has weaponized my flexibility and genuine efforts to co-parent. I won't waste your time defending myself and will say that she never brought any DV up at any previous hearing, there were never any charges or police reports, and she agreed to give me 50-50 parenting time. This, along with the timing of her new marriage and the motion, speaks volumes. At best, our relationship was unhealthy and mutually toxic. The reality is that I was being abused, which is the reason I filed for divorce in the first place. At times, I have felt so scared, angry, and helpless, more so than at any other time in my life, and I have been to combat. It's not that I believe she will be successful. Everyone I reach out to reassures me that this is a long shot. It's the mere possibility that I could lose the kids and that they would have to spend so much more time with someone who is so emotionally damaging. It's been a challenge to stay grounded. I am having nightmares and difficulty falling and staying asleep due to the anxiety. There is something so gut-wrenchingly cruel about having someone who abused you accuse you of being the abuser. I am preparing in all the ways legally, physically, and emotionally to fight for my children. I have a very strong case and will show the judge how loved and cared for the children are at Dad's house. I will let my attorney communicate the issues with her behavior and subtly let the judge know who they are truly dealing with. I mostly wanted to express gratitude to all the Redditors and share this as a cautionary tale to help others. If you are considering leaving or are co-parenting with someone with a personality disorder, please don't fall into the trap I did. Keep your boundaries in place, stick to the order, and document high conflict behaviors so that you are prepared to protect yourself and your children. If you believe in prayer, I would appreciate them in any form. I will update again after the trial. Commenter. Don't subtly demonstrate anything to the judge. Work with your attorney to throw your wicked ex all the way under the bus. Has your ex ever used illicit substances? Has she ever cheated on her taxes? Has she done anything illegal that you can document and substantiate? Gather everything you can to torpedo her character and demonstrate her lack of fitness to parent. If she can be incarcerated, all the better. Also, try to get dirt on her new husband. Establish that your kids would be unsafe living with him. There's absolutely no reason to try and salvage any sort of civil relationship with a psycho. You need to go scorched earth and bury her in court. Your ex is a bad person, and you don't cut bad people slack.